individuals, real estate investors, bankers, people who have been in this industry forever. So talking about this, I am not worried about paying this loan down faster because my tenants are paying the loan. Here's what's happening, and I need you to see this, to see it for what it really is. Even though the tenants are paying this loan off, okay, I need you to see what happens after 1 year. I'm looking at cumulative principal and cumulative interest, and here is what real estate investors aren't looking at. It sounds good. I just need the tenants to pay it off, and I'm good. Why worry about it? Because of this, your tenants gave you enough money to pay the principal down by $30,699.86. All right. I got to put that on the screen. Okay. 30,000. They gave you 30,000. All right. Because you paid it to principal. All right. That's 30,699.86. Your tenants gave you that money. All right. And they also gave you enough money to pay the interest. So if you look straight across from that, they gave you an additional 73,000. Okay. So we're going to add right there. We're going to add 73,748.14 equals, they gave you, your tenants gave you $104,484 in 1 year. That's what the tenants gave. Folks, are you seeing where I'm going here? The tenants gave you $104,000. How much were you able to keep out of that or generate? How much were you able to profit from that? You were able to generate $30,699.86 in equity out of $104,000. Listen, if I gave you right now, everyone in here, all right, I gave you, your family, $104,448. If I gave you and your family, and you and your spouse and your children knew you had $104,000, and a year later you only had $30,000 of it left, what would your spouse say? All right, this is an investment. Your investment gave you $104,000, and all you have left to show for it is $30,699.86. Donna, what do you think about that? Isn't this amazing? Isn't this amazing? So here's what I told this real estate investor. Okay. So this real estate investor is putting money in the bank. All right. And they have a reserve fund of over $100,000. So I said, could you borrow $30,000 from yourself, apply it to this loan principal? All right. Apply it to principal on line one. You make your regular payment, and then you give the bank an additional $30,000 that goes straight to principal. My question is, aren't you paid down to line 12 in just 1 month? The answer is yes. So I'm paid down to the exact same place, giving the bank the exact same amount of money I would have given them in 1 year anyway. But guess what? It didn't cost me all of that interest. I get to eliminate the interest cost between line 2 and line 12. Folks, that is $67,000 in interest saved. Let me do some additional math here. All right, let me put this up. That money sitting in the bank is making me 1/10 of 1%. 1/10 of 1%. That's what's happening. That money in the bank is saving me 1/10 of 1%. So if that's what it's making me. But if I take the money out of the bank and apply it to principal, I'm going to save $67,661.37. So let me put that in the calculator. I'm going to save $67,661.37. But what is it? I'm going to prepay, take money out of the bank that was sitting in the bank. I'm going to take 30 grand out of the bank, and I'm going to divide it by 30,699.86. I get 2.20. So if you're doing percentages, you have to move the decimal point 2 places. Folks, 120% return on my money. Taking money out of the bank that was making 0.1% now gets me a 220% return by applying it to the mortgage and interest I don't have to pay. This is what the AI system can do for you when you understand, helps you to understand the use of your money. You got your money doing something over here. You got options to do money over here. Did you know I asked the AI system about opportunity cost, and it broke down opportunity cost. It says opportunity cost is you have to consider how much money you would lose if you use your money in this way or another way. That's what opportunity cost is. That's what opportunity cost is. If I could use it one way or another way. All right. So I could leave it in the bank and make 0.1%. I can apply it to this mortgage and save me 67 grand. And then when you ask the computer that, the computer is going to give you the right answer all the time based on the numbers, not based on my feeling, not based on what I've been taught for 30 years, not based on what the financial gurus are saying, but based on the numbers. Folks, it does not matter how sincere a person is if they're giving you bad information. They're not meaning to give you bad information. They're sincere in their belief. But what is happening is that the information we've been given for the last 89 years, when it comes to dealing with these mortgages and investing, is absolutely wrong when you focus on the numbers. Miranda says, numbers don't lie. Listen, you're either speaking the truth or you're speaking a lie. You don't have to be intentional about lying to speak a lie. I want you to get that. You may be lying, but you don't know that you're lying. You're trying to give people good information, but it turns out not to be good information. That's what we're talking about today, folks. How can we get the best information possible? You have to run the numbers. By running the numbers, that's how you get to where you want to go.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.